Are we on? We are. Oh, yeah. Right. I hear the drums. Got to give credit to Alex McCann and Dalton Joseph because they created this. So sending out love to them, you know. The anthem. The anthem. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Godric Joseph joining.
Ah, good. Yes, I'll go. Got the singer, mate. Tell me when you're ready. Hear them drums? Yeah, yeah, yeah. This comes out of traditional music from Tambour. Caribbean, Tobago.
Deb Rock says hello, by the way.
Yeah. Hello. Feel that thing. Feel that thing. You know, woo! Get me in the mood there. Is somebody ready, yeah?
Yeah, I think it's 8 o'clock.
Alright, is that o'clock? Let's fire up then. We've got to stop that music then. Alright? Okay, good. Alright? You going to turn that off, yeah? The music?
Yes.
It's not going to go on in the background, is it?
No,
Good.
it's fine.
Okay, so let's fire up. Where we are. Good evening. Alright. So, you guys are directing it. You tell me what I've got to do.
Well,
Alright?
let's see if they have any questions for us.
Anything set? We had some questions that were sent in as well, didn't we? So we
Yeah, we had some questions that were
We can
sent.
start with some of them. Okay, Vonley Joseph, my apologies for not coming on every week. But I think the most appropriate way is every month. I'd get very, very busy. And I think every week was a bit overstretching it, to be honest with you. But I'd like to think that we can build it up to every week. So at some stage, that's what I'm going to do. But for the moment, we're going to do it on a once a month, I believe, till the end of the year. Because my diary gets busy this time towards the end of the year. So we'll work it. But if I can do the extras, believe you me, I will. So, where are we at? What's the first question?
Alright, so we had some questions basically that came by email. I mean,
Yeah.
So the first one is how much power do my customers have?
Okay, in terms of power, customers and power. Okay. Alright. Did they define what industry?
Not exactly.
Okay, no problem. We'll just say it's a generic thing. Alright. Well, they always say customer is king. But customer is king to a point. I mean, you can imagine if a customer's being extremely rude to you, would they be king? But at the same time, it would be down to you and how you deal with that situation. So, the customer is the one that drives your business. The customer is the one that's going to put money into the business. But at the same time, it needs to be a reciprocal. If there's no reciprocal behaviour going on, it could be a difficult challenge. So, you'll find in terms of power, yes, customers do have a lot of say within the business, but they don't actually run the business. So it's good in terms of if you're laying out feedback and you're ensuring that you're getting the relevant information from those customers to tailor your business to suit their needs. Because obviously, if you're running a business and you're going east and your customers are going west, there's not going to be any balance there, and you're not bridging in terms of relationship. So what you really would want to do is tap in to your customers, but into their mindset, and find out what's going on. And ways to do that is you can be doing it through observation, you can do it through feedback forms, you can do it through analysis, trends, patterns. There's so many different ways, but the way that I prefer to do it is to speak to them directly and run either questionnaires with them or have a set feedback for them in terms of surveys where they can answer relevant questions. Prior to running that questionnaire or that survey, you may want to speak to them first so you can tailor the questions to their needs. And then you're able to really gather appropriate information, because it's no sense just putting together a questionnaire and it's not relevant. It needs to be relevant to the business that you're doing and obviously towards the customer's needs. Another way of doing it is if you have a complaints register. Look at your complaints register and work from the complaints. Tailor your questions around the complaints. You should always have a complaints policy. If you're in business, always have a complaints policy. Most people run away from complaints, but complaints are very good because complaints tell you where you're at. Okay? Yes. Oh, thank you very much. I never thought of that, but yeah, thanks, Jan. All right, good to see you, mate. He's just filled that out for me. Oh dear, that's an interesting one, isn't it? I was just thinking about Merchant Seal the other day, years back. We were about 11 years old, so it's good to know that we're still in touch, and good history, mate. You keep your chin up, yeah? Keep going good. But yeah, that's the objective. So, in terms of power base, customers, yeah, they're king to a point, like I said, but it's like any king or queen, right? Someone's got to clean their shoes, someone's got to put them on top, put them on the throne. If there's no one to change their clothes, no one to clean their shoes, no one to be the muckers, shall we say, then they're not going to be a king or queen, are they? They can't be a king or queen on their own. So the customer needs you to be king, right? That's the objective, right? So depending on what the business is, like I said, but you should always seek to get really good information from your clients, because if you can get the information, especially the complaints, you're going to be on point. Simple as that. All right, don't overcomplicate it. Keep it very, very simple, and you'll find that you'll step up as you go along. But like I said, complaints is good. Never think complaints is not good, because it's giving you feedback on your business, and then you're able to raise the quality within your business, and that's where you want to be. I hope that answers the question.
Alright,
yeah.
So I hope the fans, I'm gonna send them the video after so they can watch it once.
No worries, that's understandable, yeah. We'll be sending out a video after as well, because we film it, because the quality of the podcast sometimes on the Facebook understand is not up to the spec we like, so we film it and then we send it out afterwards, so you'll be getting that as well.
You can subscribe to the
Yeah.
channel.
So the objective of the session, as you well know, we're here to answer questions on what issues that individuals are having in terms of running their business, and the headaches and stresses. And why it's come about, the podcast, is because I see a lot of people, I get a lot of people contacting me all the time. Strange enough, a lot of them haven't come onto the podcast, so that's quite interesting. And I thought, well, it's starting to pull me away from certain things that I'm doing, so I thought, let's how can we get this right where I can get to a certain audience and give back. So that's really what I'm doing by giving back. So now when they phone, I tell them, right, come into the podcast. Makes life a lot easier. It's a lot more streamlined. So that's what's brought this about. So we're going to keep it running. Not every week, like I said before. My apology on that, but it'll be every month for the moment. And God willing, in the new year, we'll roll it out to every week. That's the objective. Any more questions?
Alright, so the next, we have a few more. So the next question, we've asked how much power do their customers have. So what about the suppliers? How much power do they have?
The suppliers, all right. Well, suppliers are very much customers as well. They're just external customers. When you look at it within the supply chain, they're an external customer, and within that, the chain of what you're operating in. For example, let's say that you're doing, say flowers. A lot of flowers coming from Holland, right? And then you've got to go down to New Covent Garden to get them, which means you've got to be up the early part of the morning. And it won't just be you going there; it'll be several other people going there. So it pays to know times, dates, places, and so on. Especially in terms of suppliers, what their systems and processes are, so you can tap in. Especially if you're purchasing from the supplier. But the supply chain also has their supply chain, so it's really getting to understand what their supply chain is, and then working it from there, and understanding the logistics within that supply chain, because that helps. And then you can then position yourself accordingly in terms of where you are in that supply chain, so you get to understand it, especially when it comes into pricing and things like that and so on. You can get to really see your positioning, and by understanding your positioning, then you're able to really distribute whatever you're doing or retail what you're doing in the right way. All right? And if you need to grow, obviously, whether you're going backward integration, which is into your supply chain, or forward integration, which is into your customer base, you have a clear understanding of your environment and the business that you're operating in. A lot of people just doing a business, but we're not really understanding what the supply chain is. And it's very important. I see a lot of people who go down the market, for instance, they stop at the wholesaler, but did they know they could go, say, to a manufacturer and source the products at a lower cost? So it's understanding that and getting that dynamics right. Now, obviously it's in time and space as well, and it may not be something that you as an individual may want to do. But it's good to know, because if the business does need to upscale, or the business outgrows you as an individual and you need to scale the business, then you really should have that information to hand, so you're not having to run around and put out needless time and expense by trying to find out and identify what's going on within that supply chain. So understand the business that you're in, what's happening at the back end, what's happening at the front end of the business, and where you sit in the middle of that, wherever you are in that chain, because the supply chain can go right down to the, for instance, if you were doing, like I said, clothing, it can go right down to the agricultural side. And even prior to textile, you've got yarn, and prior to yarn, there's people planting the textile that grows the plants that produce the textile. Right, so it's how far do you want to go, how deep you want to go within the business. Very, very important. And for you as an individual, you need to be able to define where you want to be within that business. Right? Right. Anything else?
Thank you.
Okay, so we
I hope
have.
that answers the question.
Let me show you this one.
Right? Alex, I'm living in Spain. Oi! Right, oh right, you read it, did you? Well done, Alex. Good to see you, mate. Alright, lovely. I've got that, yeah. Yeah, hotels, yeah, good. I'm loving it, good. Yeah, I'm loving it. Yeah, don't get too political, that's right, son. We keep it underground, you know how we live. Alright? I've been seeing you, I've been watching you as well. So anytime you need a bit of support out, you know where I am, yeah? Alright? That's a good business you're in there. Keep your head up, keep your chin up, and go. Now, I was playing your track earlier, mate. If you got it in the beginning, you heard it. Do that thing, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the anthem. You and Big Up, Dalton Joseph, remember? That's the anthem, mate, alright? Them drums in the back, the warrior charge, that's how we're living. Alright, so you keep going, mate. Keep your chin up. Natural entrepreneur. How do I think Brexit will impact on business venture here? I'm building upon existing hotels. Right, Al, you know my view, alright? So this Brexit thing, like you said, without getting too political, because you know I can lose it sometimes on that side. But look, selling is selling, mate. Okay? Alright, if you're making sales, right, don't get wrapped up too much on the politics. Alright, that's route one. Alright? Business still got to run. Good, bad times, recessions, non-recessions, business has got to run. Okay? Now, to be pre-warned is to be pre-armed. Alright? So, you have to come within your mindset and start to really think, well, think of the worst scenario. Alright? Get the worst scenario right. Because that's the key. Plan from the worst. It's what we call risk assessment. So we look at the worst possible scenario, what we call reduction to ridiculous. Then we look at a medium scenario. Alright? And then we look at a positive scenario. So you're planning with contingency. Alright? Now, in terms of what's going on with Brexit, alright? What is, I believe, is going on at the moment, right, is people playing mind games with everybody round the table. Alright, but everyone needs everybody. Now what you've got to be able to do is step back and look at the bigger picture and not be led by the propaganda. Alright, now I put an article out there the other day trying to break down some points in that area. What is your business? Why are you in business? Where do you want to go with the business? That's what's more important. Right? The environment around you, of course, it's going to take some shape to it, but you're going to plan with that risk assessment involved. Now, you know you can sell. And once you can sell, you're in the game. That's the reality of it. Alright? So going forwards, how are you gonna focus on generating those deals? Alright? Because certain other hotels it may take an effect on, but not yours. You with me? Alright, not yours. And why it ain't gonna be yours? Because you're paying attention to the detail and you're planning accordingly for what potentially could happen, what may happen, and what you know is going to happen in terms of what you're going to happen, because you still got to get deals. That's the reality of it. You still have to get deals. So the political environment, although it kind of pulls and shapes with, you know, people not doing and spending less and so on, if you're positioned well enough, then you're in the game. I mean, I watched something, I know a lot of people don't like Donald Trump, but you know, I watched a documentary on him the other day, because put that all that aside, he's a good salesman. And he opened up an hotel in the 70s in New York when it was totally in deprivation. A high-class hotel. And everyone said he was a nutcase, but he made it work. And then on that he went on to get the Trump Tower and so on and whatever. And he was one of the main instigators behind the development of New York. So what I'm saying, if you've got a vision and you've got focus within that vision, then make it happen. Alright, because that's the reality of it. Alright, so don't worry about all these politics and isms and schisms. Don't worry about all that. You can sell. And once you believe, it will happen. Alright, so don't take all that on. And off the record, you know, touch base with me, because I'll go into it in more detail for you, because I will spend a good while on that. Alright, and I'm conscious that I've got to answer some other questions as well. But just really focus on that. Focus on what they say USP and all that kind of, put that to one side. What you really got to focus on is your selling ability and how you're going to bring that to market. Alright, and what you've got there, and how you're going to open up the game in the worst possible scenario. You know, I always tell you, reduction to the ridiculous. Alright, the worst possible scenario. Plan for the worst at all cost. And then you'll start to relate from there. Alright, because there's going to be a wash and a bash, that's standard. Alright, you know, the people on the grafting level at the grassroots, they always feel it. That's standard. Right? But where we're at now is you're going to be the step ahead of the rest, because you're going to be paying attention, you're going to be focused in detail, and you're going to raise your game, should you need be, which you should be doing anyway, to make sure it don't happen to you. You with me? Because remember, in recessions or hard times, it's the real entrepreneurs that come through. Remember that. That's statistically proven. That's foundation. Factual. And you're going to be one of those. You're not going to be a statistic, mate. We'll make sure of that, alright? Just get me off the record. Contingency plan. Love it. Yeah, okay. Fantastic. Cheryl, hello. How are you? Thank you for tuning in. And it's contingency plan. Yes, contingency 1, 2 and 3. Absolutely. Alright? You've got to have that. Yeah? Worst possible scenario, the middle, and the core scenario going forwards. Alright? But don't forget, reduction to the ridiculous. The most ridiculous, most difficult thing you could plan for. Alright, and start coming at it from there. Alright, Al, thanks mate. Love ya. Yeah mate, and listen up, because your track's our anthem. Alright, so keep it going mate. Yeah, and just touch me mate, because you know we're going to make it happen for you. Winners never lose mate, remember that. Yeah, we don't know how to lose. The warrior's in the game. Alright, what's going on there?
I think so,
yeah.
Okay, the next question is how to measure the right things in business.
Alright, monitor and measuring. Interesting. Okay, right. Well, if it's not getting measured, it's not getting done. That's route 1. Alright? So, if you're doing something, yeah, in simplistic terms, right, because we don't want to overcomplicate it, because too much analysis can produce paralysis, right? So, if you're doing something, you've got to track and monitor what you're doing. That's route 1. Understand what you're doing, how you're doing it. For instance, let's say, for example, you're making phone calls. How many phone calls are you making a day? Okay? And all you've got to do is the old-fashioned way, we used to do it. I mean, you've got all sophisticated ways today. But the old-fashioned way is you have a pad and you just notch one, you know, the 4 line and the line across type thing. And at the end of it, you calculate your calls, you calculate the prospects of the potential leads you may have got, and then you work it out. So for instance, if it was 10 calls that you've made and you've got 2 potential prospects, that's 1 in 5. Okay? And out of that, say you went and saw those 2 individuals and 1 ended up in a sale, that would be 1 in 10. So monitoring and measuring is in its most simplistic terms is rooted in that foundation. There's so many different ways you can do it, right? Because not only have you got the quantitative, which is the numerical aspect of it, you've got the qualitative side as well, which is the non-numerical side, which generally comes down to emotion, emotives and so on, why people do what they do, the cognitive behaviour, the cognitive processes, right? So it's not numerical, you can't crunch it in numbers, it's generally done for observation or